Hey, today I want to talk on a topic which is quite astronomical, literally. So, we are heading towards what is maybe the most significant astronomical alignment in our life. Um, I don't know how much you are into um, astrology, but if you are, so you can understand the significance of it. But even if not, it's symbolically, look at that. The moon goes around the earth. Earth goes around the sun. Sun goes around the black hole, supermassive black hole in the center of the galaxy. These are like 4 degrees of cosmological hierarchy that are related to Earth. And beyond the galaxy, there are more degrees. It's more blurry. The Great Attractor, and the mystery is big. We don't know so much yet. But these 4 are clear. And what's going to happen is that these 4 gonna be on one line. Exactly. Which is a quite rare event. When is it going to be? So it's gonna be in the solstice on the 21st of June, like a month from now. And it's gonna be also in that same day, there's gonna be a full solar eclipse. So as we know, in a solar eclipse, the sun, the moon, and the earth are on the same line, and it's on the solstice. So this is by itself a beautiful coincidence, symbolically beautiful. And exactly on that line there is now the center of the galaxy, which is something that can be on the same line with Earth, basically every almost 13,000 years, because the cycle of precession. So it kind of goes around the zodiac, but now it's on that line of the solstices. And to have such an astronomical event is quite rare. So first of all, there is a window every 13,000 years that the galactic center can be in that line. So that in the first place. Second of all, to have a full solar eclipse on the solstice, this by itself is also very rare. And to have those two things together, the chance it happened in 13,000 years ago is very small. I mean, it can take quite a while for it to happen. I don't know exactly, and I guess it's not so easy to calculate something like that with the complexity of the equation of how everything moves. And who knows, basically, how was Earth pattern back then. But still, it is symbolically amazing alignment. And in the esoterics, where the astrology kind of came from, it considers to be a planetary initiation, like a massive global shift. And In a way, we can say it's like that. Earth is us, like humans. As a human, I am Earth. I have around me the moon. It's like the shadow that sometimes is revealed, sometimes not. Sometimes it is seen because it shines the light of the sun, the light of awareness, of consciousness. And sometimes it is hidden in the subconscious. So the moon will cover the sun. The sun is the awareness, or me as a consciousness, not necessarily a human, but as a consciousness, a self that is beyond this body, that this body is just part of. In the regular common terms, so the sun is kind of the equivalent for the soul, and earth to the body mind, and the moon is the shadow aspect in the body mind that can kind of work by its own. So this is the solar system. Now, what is the center of the galaxy symbolically in the experience of the psyche? So let's look at that. The sun shines light. It is the light of awareness. It is shining the light, and then through a reflection back of that light, it is conscious of the existence of the persona, which is the body mind, of the shadow when it is revealed, and it is a source of light by itself, so it does not need a reflection of other source of light to show that something exists. Comparing to Earth, need to see the sunlight reflecting from the moon and cannot see the moon directly. In a way, we need to be aware of the higher self in order to reveal the lower self. Because when we are in the mid self, so it's just terms I hope to be understood. So when we are in the mid self, we cannot approach directly to the lower self because we don't have enough awareness to observe also ourself more objectively, and the conditioning will be too strong and also take over the consciousness or the awareness or the patterning of thinking. So the sun is a source of light, a source of awareness. It's like just a consciousness. Now the black hole is even not shining light, at least not in the visible spectrum. It have that poles that shoot out some ray, but it's basically absorbing light. And not just it absorbs light, it seems like it is absorbing light because it is taking into it space and time itself, space-time. It just takes everything in. And from the perception of Earth, this is black, this is dark, this is a pure mystery. Also, the moon is sometimes black or dark, but this is dark of shadow. The black hole is not dark of shadow, it's pure darkness. It is the void. And in that void state, everything we meet is already part of us. The black hole basically absorbs space and time, as I said, also time, which means, in a way, we are already inside the black hole now, because the time is already also going there. It just seems that we are not, because there is a certain delay, but we are already on the planetary grip of the black hole. So in a way, we are also already in it. We are part of it. We are one with it. And that place of perception, like as a black hole, so it's not even the soul. It is, I am all. I am everything that I perceive is me. When I perceive you, it is me. And it is a mixture. In one side, it's the ultimate ego trip. I am everything, and my will is the only will. But in the other side, it's also, you are also part of me. So from that place, there is the ultimate compassion as well. It's together. And also the mind, the ability to perceive it all. And these four aspects of our psyche, and I refer to us as humans that living on this planet, although in our subjective experience we can travel in all that range, and it can change in moment for moment, but this is a body of a human being using that technology to talk in a set of sounds that is understood to other human beings. And human being is basically, in a way, can be an avatar for a soul, which in a way is an avatar for that monad, for that God consciousness, for that state of allness. Like, I guess there are more words can be describing it. But it's like God state, like the one God. And there are more galaxies, so it goes on. But in our current psyche, this is already much. And we can say also that another parallelity to show it even more clear. So this body, it's a human body, it's like that animal, like this is the planetary part. And then there is the unconscious part within that. It's like the moon. The subconscious, more to say, because there is also superconscious, which can be unconscious, and that comes from the mystery, from the void, but it depends where our identity lays, and this is subjective. Still, objectively, we all share the same body, we all share the same planet as well. And when we shift our subjective perception to a soul and consciousness that is not fully identified with this body, it's just married with this body, and everything that have a beginning have an end as well. So it is a journey together, then we can meet others as souls as well, and we can meet from that place. And then we don't need the affirmation or confirmation of our wholeness, of our individuality from another. We don't need to see the shine of a sun reflecting back from another planet to know it's existing. We see directly, and we know, and we don't need to confirmation from another that we are shining light, because we know we are a source of light, and we know everyone is a source of light. Everyone, I mean, as soul, because as humans there is sometimes forgetting that essence, that we can travel with our subjective experience beyond the identification with idea that we are taught that this is who we are, basically. Many people even don't start this journey of questioning, who am I really? Like, who am I? And that journey of unshedding ideas, concepts, beliefs, which are all patterns from education, society, media. And actually education and media and society many times giving much effort to teach you and tell you you are this and that, like this, and this is reality. It's kind of coming together because you are the center of your own reality. So what is reality also defines what is you. It comes together, and from that place we can know that, okay, we are all source of light. From that place, I mean from a solar being, in a way to say, like soul and solar, it's coming together. And as a soul, we know, again, it can come in all kind of ways, but we know, for example, that life force is in everything. We can meet that in everything, in nature, in every animal, in the clouds, in the rivers, in, like, it's all around us, it's all over the planet. Life force, we can sense that, and we can kind of, to say, let this avatar merge with it, trust it, go with it, like intuitively, as said. Same, we know another direction, another pathway to get to that is through knowing love, that we are all love in essence. We are beings of love. We are love, in a way. Like, we are, it's like each one of us is a ray of the sun. So we know our connectedness. We know we are all part of a one that is whole, that is, like, we are part of it. We are part of this planet. We are just a part of this planet. Other animals are another part of this planet, and they also experience life force. We are becoming much more conscious of the suffer of nature, for example, of animals, of like ecologic systems, because also this body is an ecologic system, is an animal as well, and it's like expanding awareness beyond, and this body becomes just like another planet in that system. so the perception can be wider. And same with the understanding of the mind, the knowledge, the knowing that essence of why we are here at the first place, what is the meaning of being, and how the mind works, like figuring all these nuances that might be very confusing and puzzling for many people who have not had that realization. So this is, in a way, a movement from a planetary being to a solar being. And there is, of course, the regressive movement towards a lunar being, which is, in a way, humanity is already above that. But yeah, we can be driven directly from our unevolved traumas and like acting from that place, like fully not taking responsibility, or not being aware of what we are doing, and just focusing around ourselves, like the moon is circling around this body, this planet. So just circling around myself all the time is my shadow. and it's very narrow, it's very like focused on a specific part of myself, specific needs that are many times half of the month is not conscious. But then evolving more towards a galactic being. So from that place, as a human experiencing subjectively that galactocentric being that is using this avatar, so it's like already it's 2 octaves, it's 2 levels of hierarchy now, because Earth and to the moon is 1 level, to the sun is 1 level, but then above the sun, so it's much greater gap. And in a way this is also like there is a certain completion in it of all that earthly journey, a completion in that state, because as a human that knows itself as the source, as like God, as the oneness itself. So again, there are few pathways to that. Of course, it can come in like mentally, intellectually to be understood, which is also a pathway, and then through meditation experiencing that state of void or samadhi, or satori, or there are many names to that. There is another pathway which, as I mentioned before, if it's all me, so it's like through what we call the emotion, the opening of love towards like that compassion that is symbolically represented maybe by the Christ. And Christ, yeah, Jesus, but I mean Christ as more like the Christ consciousness, like the thing that is just so much love and so much compassion that it is fully devoted to that, and it also triggering the maximum potential to come out because the care is absolute. In a way, from that place, I am becoming all of it. Like, you are all me, you know? And yeah, it's not easy all the time, but it's a challenge, and it is growth. And there is another pathway, which is just experiencing again life force. And this is in a way a full shift to that, in a way, to the next octave of body. So, this body is made of many little cells. Every cell is an individual and have its own function, and all the cells together communicate and interact and forming this bigger organism, which is a human body. Same, this human body can be seen as one cell in this planetary organism and interacting now with other cells. Let's say humans are the animal with the most evolved prefrontal cortex. So humanity is the prefrontal cortex of the planet. And now I am a neuron in that part of the planetary brain, reaching out to connect to some other neurons. And this is a greater entity. What we experience as our consciousness, it's the planetary consciousness. It's a differentiation from the planetary consciousness, just a glimpse of it passing through. And same what we experience as love, and same what we experience as life force. And when we integrate all these pathways together, it's like we are the planet. I am Earth. And yeah, I am Earth talking from a human body, but there is no self. The self is just an instrument, a mental instrument, in order to communicate in a way that we can use words, abstract words. This is our ability as humans. This is what the prefrontal cortex does. It defines abstract meanings. And what is a self? It's an abstract meaning. It's an idea. Everything we define, everything we can point on and say, give name to it, we define it, it becomes abstract meaning. And it's not the thing itself. When I point on you and say, this is you, you is just the word. It's not really you. But it is a word that is pointing towards what is. But the description can never be the thing itself. Same with I or me. But I is just an idea. It points towards what is. But it's not really existing. And when we believe that I really am, that there is an I, and then we shape it in a way, okay, so what differs this I from other I? It's like we in the mess already. And we can see that, of course. We can see how disharmonic humanity behaves on this planet. seeing its superiority upon like everything else, not acknowledging that humanity is part of a wholeness, that the whole ecologic system is important, all the things on the planet is not less important than us, humanity. And we can see it also in some groups or individuals saying like, we are better, we like in wars we can see that, or in like group that says, yeah, we more important, you less important, we will conquer you. Or even individuals, like they think how they can get to themselves more, and they don't think how can everyone have enough. So it's way of thinking that is an outcome of holding on to the identity, and the identity that is limited, basically, or an identity, any identity. And when a person knows itself as all, so the person cannot exist anymore. It is just awareness and love and life force acting through, fully aware, fully alive, and fully loving. And it's the only way it can be fully alive and aware and loving, because there is no self that sucks on that merit, sucks on that energy, that keeps it in a loop. But I want to tell you also that it is important to have that ego, basically. I mean, what is an ego? Ego is a definition of the self, or the original term. So it is important to have a self, to have an I. It is really important for us as humans, because this is our role. This is our role on this planet. From all animals, this is our ability. And there are some applications to that are important. It's just, the only thing is to put it in proportion. It's not letting it take over the identity, but using it as an instrument. And the best use of ego is language. When I tell you I say it in a certain language, this English or whatever language. So I have an idea of an I, and I'm using it with that. When I continue with the language and I describe who am I, it's like I'm looking at the mirror and painting on the mirror, like how do I look? So I'm actually covering the picture more and more. And still, without the ability to talk in words, we cannot do many things, basically. We cannot function in a certain efficiency. Especially mathematics is a language that is important in that sense. I mean, the languages we talk is more between us. But, you know, if I cannot talk, so, you know, when you meet another animal that cannot talk, let's say you meet a chicken, and yes, of course there is communication, of course there is feeling, of course there is awareness, that there is interaction. But the chicken cannot say words that have an abstract meaning. It just shares itself, what it feels, what it thinks in that moment, but the thoughts don't go to that abstract realm that can perceive things fully objectively. This is unique for us, and this is, in a way, our role because of that. And it allows many things, it destroys many things. It depends how we use it, like any instrument. So if you don't have self-definition, you cannot define anything else, because anyway, in a way, you can say it's all mirror, it's all like everything we perceive is in the neural net of the associative cortex. It's like we interpret reality, but without the ability to define ourselves first, then we cannot project it outside on anything else, and we cannot define anything else. So we cannot define abstract meanings, we cannot define words, and we cannot define me and you. We cannot define that. So we cannot meet on the mental level. It is impossible for us without it. So we are this part of the planet that enables it also to the planet to be able to meet other planets. Where in that sense the planet is very much of a baby, just getting to know its oneness. But at a certain point we will evolve enough, and we will be also, when we are in inner peace, in harmony, then it's much easier to meet another one with love. At the moment the planet is tilting, it's not fully in inner harmony, but when it gets into inner harmony, it will be much easier to meet others with love that are there. I mean, the galaxy is gigantic, and also it's a part of the solar system. It's huge. And this is the essence. As humans, we define ourselves. We are the planetary ego. Humanity is the planetary ego, and ego not as negative thing, just as a functional thing that is many times used negatively. So let's learn more how to use it positively, because we do need that. And then when we know ourselves as whole, we know we are the planet, then we can meet and get even more enriched. Like when you meet another person and you realize there is a new love you have not met yet, and it meets you, it's amazing. Or new understandings, or new pleasure. It is the same in that sense. So from a galactic, subjective, centric perception of human on Earth, it's like I am Earth. And then I cannot go beyond that, because now if I want to go even more, but I'm not separated than you. We are Earth together, and you might be a part of Earth that is knowing itself as Earth, and maybe part that knows itself as something separated. So I need to wait for you. I need to wait for everyone that have not woken up yet in order to go to the next state of evolution, because that stage must be taken together, all of us. It cannot be fully taken otherwise. And this is exactly the symbolic event that happens on that alignment on the 21st of June. It is the galactic center and then the Earth. So it shines on the Earth on one side and meeting on the other side the moon and then the sun on that same line, which is, by the way, also the eclipse is a full eclipse, but there is a ring there. It's beautiful, like a diamond ring. And it means, in a way, also if we take it symbolically, the shadow covers the soul. But it can, although it covers it maximally it can in that moment, still the soul, if we're not fully identified with the shadow and we can see a bit more outside, we can see there is that ring of light around it. And so we can remember that we are a soul. And it is all remembering. I mean, we are all souls. It's just remembering. And anchoring this memory, like wiring into the cortex. Like that this avatar functions from that knowing and not other patterns of information that are self-destructive or blocking evolution. So knowing, remembering that we are a soul, although the shadow covers it fully, so also it's becoming fully aware of the shadow and in a way drawn towards the shadow, because as Earth we are drawn towards the sun, we're going around the sun all the time, but the moon is exactly there, so we are drawn towards the shadow, we are drawn to the darkness, we want to meet the darkness, so we're going towards it. And we're remembering, if we're not fully identified with the darkness, because it can be also an ego trip of like power, of like me, I am the one. But if we really willing to take all of the shadow, so we also remembering we are the soul, because there is that clue around. And then we can realize that this shadow is not fully dark, actually. It's not the real darkness, which we are even wanting more. But that place that wants it, it's even not us as human. It's us as humanity. It's something deeper in us. It's like us as souls. And we want humanity to evolve into knowing itself as galactic being. So then the sun is attracted to the center of the galaxy. So it's exactly going backward and it's going through Earth. So we can have full descension of the soul on this planet and opening together towards becoming a galacto-conscious society of humanity. This is a great opportunity. And or in the planetary aspect, it can, like, we can be united. We can come as Earth. We are talking to you, and really as Earth, and not divided. Not like the American and the Chinese and the Indian and the Arabs and like you know, this is a split personality. But if we want to really meet someone, we first need to know ourselves enough, at least, to like say hello, I am whatever, instead of many voices at once, it is not clear. So, Earth, in a way, this is my understanding, Earth having enough of that separation, of that separatedness, enough of humans, like of that split personality. It's time to wake up into an alignment, into one, into being one. And it's so needed that it, in a way, even doesn't matter how. It's either by global technocratic fascism controlling us, by, vaccinating us with microchips and controlling our minds and everything, the media, and like enslaving us. But then at least the earth is in a way under one controlling center that control all earth. Same like when the ego takes over the identity, like, so we want to stay in control. It is exists in every one of us, that place. The ego wants to be in control of reality, because if it is not under the control of like consciousness of what is familiar, then it's sometimes can be acted aggressively to bring the control, even if it is not harmonic. So how can we open to be aware and let go of control, trust something that is beyond us? So that is another way, and we just let all the sides within, we just listen. We becoming the awareness that listens to all the sides, and we see how they get to a harmony by themselves and not by force, not by suppression and enslavement, in a way, which is widely common process that happens within people's psyche. That's why, in a way to say, it is happening now, in a way that there are those people who are making their control over all of us the thing, like without, with suppression of the love and of the, like with keeping ignorance and not really making us as vital as possible. Like there is a dispowering pattern in that. So another option, and that is the invitation, is that we unite from ourselves. We take the lead. Each one of us take the lead to create a connection, and we don't wait for that one doing it for us, uniting us, because we can see where it goes, how it looks when someone will do it for us. It is according to this someone will. One person cannot include everyone's will. It is impossible. We all need to bring our will to be met together, and to, from a place that want harmony, that want together. And we can create a reality that we can all live in together in peace. Not forced peace, not peace that is kept through militant police, like that, just like, everyone that is a threat for that governance will be disappeared or locked or whatever. But that we really are mature enough to bring it ourselves, and yeah, it's time to do that. It's an opportunity. And same like we can make just one example I will give. There are many holidays of many traditions in many different days of the year or of the month. Some traditions count the year with 12 months. Some traditions count the year with 13 months. Some traditions don't count the year, they only count the moons. Like there is, and everyone say they're right. They have the right system and they have their own holidays in the right time. So how can we shift a perception into having really a holiday for all the planet in the right timing? It's exactly that event, for example, when the planet is in an astronomical alignment that is the same for everyone. When there is full moon, it's full moon for everyone. When there is a solstice or equinox, it's for everyone. It's not for a certain tradition. When there is alignment with the galactic center, same, it's for everyone. These are, in a way to say, the global holidays or significant days of cycles. So we can start to synchronize in that way. Just an example of going out from a like sociocentric perception into a global perception and more natural, basically, and less controlled by ideas, but actually letting the ideas be formed by nature itself and not by an ego, basically. Like just because my ancestors or because this person said so or I say so. And this opportunity to, let's say, gather together in that day people from all over the world to synchronize, that is great example of a celebration of like this alignment. So let's get together on that day, all of us, with our intention for that time of the eclipse and the solstice, and let's celebrate it together. Let's give an effort of awareness to it, an intention, and do a certain ceremony, whatever, make fire, meditate, party, whatever, something with that intention, and synchronize awareness. Let's claim this planet. Let's do it together, instead of letting control over us. Let's do it. Let's actually do that. Put the effort of what reality do we choose. Let's say each one of you is the ruler of this planet now, and this is the situation. This is the resources you have. This is what's existing. And this is the global politics. But you are the ruler of this planet. So what would you do now? And from that place, we can all actually meet in harmony. Even though it can be seen as an ego trip, but a ruler does not need to rule on fear as we are taught in history and by the current system mostly. A ruler can rule from compassion as well, can rule from wisdom, and can rule from an ecstatic current that comes through as well. Let's do that. Let's create a grid of awareness of people who just choosing to create a global awareness, to acknowledge our connectedness, our oneness, together with all nature, but we are that part that defines. So we also need to define the connection. Let's define the things that are improving reality on this planet. So when we meet, we can be met with grace, we can be met, we have gifts to offer and not threat. Let's do that. And this opportunity, this alignment, it's symbolically a great timing. Whether you believe in astrology or not, it does not matter. It's a great timing for just creating unity. And you can see how the world is. I mean, it's on that edge. You can see the media, like, I guess a lot of you know how much the media is orchestrated. I guess some of you do believe the conventional media and think that what is called conspiracy theories are exaggerated. But we can see that basically much more comes out to the truth. And even to the regular media, stuff starts to come out, not in the very controlled countries, but yeah, it comes. People becoming more aware, people talking more, and this is exactly what is needed. People talking, people coming out and talking, and not letting that one person to be the talking for all of us, or that little group. Let's all talk. Let's bring all our voices. Let's do that. And then when all our voices coming together, we know exactly what is the harmony that synchronizes it all. We can hear the humming of this planet much more. So let's talk. Don't be afraid to show your truth, even though it's different. Because every truth matters. Every perception is needed to create the wholeness. That's why you exist, for that specific perception to exist. Because without it, it cannot be whole. We need every perception. All of us. That's why I do this video. I come out. Because I want to bring my perception as well. And of course there is much more to say, but this is a point that I want to point on now. And yeah, in the future there will be, I guess, more. But yeah, let's celebrate that alignment. Let's do it. Let's weave our consciousnesses. I am in Iceland, so I'm gonna hold point here for that event. So there will be a point here holding. Actually, I know few more people that hold in, like in New Zealand, in the UK, in the US, and like points of they're all over. There are much more places, people holding points for that unifying alignment. So let's be unified by choice and not by force. Let's choose our unity instead of being forced to act according to one law of little group. Ready? Let's do it. That is my message for now. Bye.